I want you to think back to when you were a child. Remember that feeling of pure possibility? That unshakable confidence that you could be anything, do anything. That wasn't just childhood optimism. That was your authentic self, untouched by doubt, unfettered by fear. Just last week, I was having dinner with a good friend, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. He leaned across the table and said something that stopped me in my tracks. He said, 20 years ago, I was sitting exactly where your audience members are sitting today. Broke, confused, and wondering if I had what it takes. Today, he runs $1 billion company. The difference, it wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it wasn't even connections. What transformed his life, what will transform your life, is what I call the success catalyst. It's the one element that turns dreams into reality, possibilities into certainties. And here's the fascinating part, you already possess it. It's hardwired into your DNA. It's built into every cell of your body. Stand up for me right now. Everyone, please stand up. Feel the energy in your body. That energy isn't just biological, it's the same force that has built empires, launched innovations, and transformed ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. That force is self-belief. Every morning when I work with top performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, I notice something remarkable. The ones who break records, who shatter expectations, who achieve the impossible, they all share one critical trait. It's not their background. It's not their education. It's their unshakable belief in themselves. Take a deep breath. Feel that. That's the breath of possibility. That's the breath of potential. Every person who has ever achieved anything remarkable started exactly where you are right now. They started with a breath, a moment, a decision. I remember sitting down with a young entrepreneur in Singapore. She had nothing but $200 in her pocket and an idea that everyone said would fail. Tell me, I asked her, what makes you think you can succeed when everyone says you can't? Her answer changed my understanding of success forever. She said, because when I look in the mirror, I don't see who I am. I see who I am becoming. Today, her company is valued at over $100 million. But it all started with that fundamental truth I promised to share with you. Success isn't something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And it all starts with what you believe about yourself in this very moment. You might be thinking, but I've tried before. I've failed before. Good, those failures aren't your enemies. They are your stepping stones. Every setback you have experienced has been preparing you for this moment, right here, right now. Imagine you are holding two seeds in your hands. They look identical, but one will grow into a mighty oak tree while the other will become a beautiful rose bush. The difference isn't in how they look, it's in their internal programming, their DNA. Your self-belief is like that internal programming. It determines not just what you will do, but who you will become. What's fascinating about success? It leaves footprints. And over the years, I've had the privilege of walking alongside some remarkable individuals who started exactly where you are sitting right now. Let me share something powerful with you that happened just 3 months ago. I received a call from Sarah, a former participant in one of my seminars. Her voice was trembling with excitement. 5 years ago, she was a receptionist at a small dental office, living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in $45,000 of debt. Today, she owns 3 successful businesses, but here's what's interesting. Her transformation didn't start with a brilliant business plan or a wealthy investor. It started one Tuesday morning when she looked in the mirror and said something different to herself. Instead of her usual, I am stuck, she asked herself, what if I am capable of more than I imagine? That one question changed everything, not overnight. That's not how real success works, but it sparked something. Sarah started small. She began studying successful business owners during her lunch breaks. She saved $50 from each paycheck, even when it hurt. She wrote down her ideas, no matter how crazy they seemed. But most importantly, she guarded her self-belief like a precious jewel. Everyone told her she was crazy. Why would anyone buy custom dental supplies from you? They said the big companies have that market locked down, but Sarah knew something they didn't. Every giant company started small. Every industry leader was once a beginner with nothing but belief in themselves. Let me share another story that might hit closer to home for some of you. 2 years ago, I met Michael at a conference in Chicago. He was 47 years old, recently divorced, and had just been laid off from his job of 22 years. He felt like life had pulled the rug out from under him, but Michael did something remarkable. He decided to see his situation not as an ending, but as a blank canvas. Michael had always been passionate about health and fitness, but starting a fitness business at 47. People said he was having a midlife crisis. You know what Michael said? He said, maybe I am. But this crisis is going to create something extraordinary. He started by training 3 clients in his garage. Just 3. But he poured everything into those 3 clients. He believed in them the same way he believed in himself. Today, Michael runs the largest personal transformation center in his state, helping thousands of people change their lives. What Michael told me recently, the biggest obstacle wasn't the money or the competition or even my age. It was the voice in my head that kept asking, who do you think you are? Once I changed that voice, everything else changed. Success leaves clues. And one of the biggest clues I've discovered is this extraordinary achievement always begins with extraordinary self-belief, always. I remember sitting in a coffee shop in London last year, meeting with a young software developer named James. He had a stable job at a prestigious firm, but something was missing. He showed me a notebook filled with ideas for educational software that could help children with learning disabilities. His eyes lit up as he talked about his vision. But then his voice dropped and he said something I hear all too often. But I'm not sure I have what it takes. I asked him a simple question. James, if you knew with absolute certainty that you couldn't fail, what would you do right now? Without hesitation, he said he'd quit his job and build his software. The clarity was there, the passion was there, the only thing missing was belief. So we worked together on building that belief piece by piece, day by day. 6 months later, James had launched his first educational app. Was it perfect? No. Did it change the world overnight? No. But it changed something more important. It changed James's belief in what was possible. Today, his software helps over 50,000 children learn in ways that work for them. But here's what's fascinating. The software isn't dramatically different from his first idea. The technology isn't revolutionary. What changed was James's belief in himself. Let me tell you about Maria, because her story might be exactly what some of you need to hear right now. Maria worked as a middle school teacher for 15 years. Every day she would go home and work on her novel. For 15 years she wrote in secret, too afraid to show anyone her work. One day she found a rejection letter her mother had kept from 30 years ago. Her mother tried to publish a book of poems but gave up after one rejection. That letter lit a fire in Maria. She decided her story would be different. Maria didn't just start believing in herself. She started acting on that belief. She joined a writer's group. She hired an editor. She faced her fears and started submitting her work. She received 47 rejections. But because her self-belief was stronger than her fear of rejection, she kept going. Today, Maria's books have sold over 100,000 copies. But what's truly remarkable isn't the sales numbers, what she tells aspiring writers at her workshops. The only difference between a published author and an unpublished one is that the published one believed they could be. Every single person I've mentioned, the Sarah, Michael, James, Maria, they all started with the same thing you have right now. A choice to believe in themselves when no one else did. A choice to keep going when others would have quit. A choice to turn their dreams into reality. And that brings us to you, sitting here right now. Your story might be different from theirs, but the fundamental truth remains the same. Your future is not determined by your past, your circumstances, or what others think is possible. Your future is determined by what you believe about yourself and what you are willing to do about that belief. Now, what I'm about to share with you isn't theory. These aren't just ideas that sound good in a seminar room. These are battle-tested strategies that have transformed lives, built fortunes, and created extraordinary success stories. And they all start with one universal principle: action backed by unshakable self-belief. Take out your notebook. What I'm about to share is worth more than gold, but only if you put it into practice. Start with your morning ritual. You see, I discovered something fascinating in my research of high achievers. They all own their mornings. When that alarm goes off at 5 a.m., it's not just starting your day. It's casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Your new morning success ritual. The first 15 minutes after you wake up are sacred. No phone, no email, no news. Instead, take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself one powerful question. What would I do today if I knew I could not fail? Write down your answer. This isn't just goal setting. It's programming your internal success mechanism. Next, invest 20 minutes in what I call success conditioning. Read something that feeds your mind with possibility. Not social media, not the news. Read about someone who's achieved what you want to achieve. Their success leaves clues, and your mind will start picking up these clues automatically. Now, where most people miss the boat, they think success is about managing their time. Wrong. Success is about managing your energy. Take your biggest goal, the one that both excites and scares you. Break it down into what I call belief-sized chunks. Let me show you exactly how this works. Sarah, the business owner I mentioned earlier, started with one simple action, calling 5 potential customers every day before 9 a.m. Not 50, not 20, just 5. Why? Because 5 was believable, 5 was doable. And here's the magic. Each successful call strengthened her self-belief. Create what I call a victory log. At the end of each day, write down 3 wins. They don't have to be massive achievements. Maybe you made that difficult phone call you have been avoiding. Maybe you stuck to your exercise routine. Maybe you chose a healthy lunch instead of fast food. Small wins compound into unshakable self-belief. A powerful technique I learned from a top performer in New York. Write a check to yourself for the amount you want to earn in the next 12 months. Place it where you will see it every morning. Write down 3 actions you will take every single day to make that check a reality. Your self-belief needs daily nourishment. Think of it like building a muscle. You wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to be strong forever. Your self-belief needs daily exercise. Here's your daily workout plan for unstoppable self-belief. First thing, every morning, stand in front of your mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and speak your achievements as if they have already happened. I am the top performer in my company. I am a successful entrepreneur. I am financially free. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. Throughout your day, catch yourself whenever you say, I can't or I don't know how. Replace these phrases immediately with how can I? This isn't just positive thinking. It's rewiring your brain for success. Every time you ask, how can I? You are engaging your mind's natural problem-solving abilities. Something powerful I learned from working with Olympic athletes. For any major competition, they run through their entire performance in their mind. They see it, feel it, believe it. You can use this same technique. Take 5 minutes before any important task, close your eyes, see yourself performing at your absolute best, feel the confidence, feel the certainty. When you face an obstacle, and you will face obstacles, ask yourself this question: what does this make possible? Don't ask why this happened to you. Ask what this happened to teach you. Create what I call 8 success environment. Look around your workspace right now. Does it reflect the person you're becoming? Every object in your environment is either lifting you up or holding you back. That pictures that inspire you. Write your goals where you can see them. Create a space that screams success. The success hour. Protect 1 hour each day. Just 1 hour for working on your biggest goal. No phone calls, no emails, no interruptions. This isn't just about productivity. It's about proving to yourself that you are serious about your success. When doubt creeps in, and it will pull out what I call your evidence card. Write down every success you have ever had, no matter how small. Every challenge you have overcome, every obstacle you have pushed through. This is your personal proof that you can achieve what you set your mind to. Remember what I told you about Michael, who started his fitness business at 47. He used what I call the daily 3. Every night before bed, he wrote down the 3 most important actions he would take tomorrow. Not a long to-do list, just 3 vital actions that would move him closer to his goal. Your words create your world. Start speaking about yourself the way you want others to speak about you. Instead of saying, I am trying to start a business, say, I am building a successful company. Instead of I hope to, say, I will. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is align your words with your inevitable success. Sometimes when I am standing in front of audiences like this, I can feel the weight of unfulfilled dreams in the room. I can see it in your eyes, that spark of possibility mixed with the shadow of doubt. And it reminds me of a moment that changed my life forever. I was sitting in my car late one night, staring at a bank statement that showed exactly $2.17 in my account. My hands were shaking. I had a family to feed, bills piling up, and what felt like the weight of the world on my shoulders. In that moment, I felt something many of you might be feeling right now. Fear, uncertainty, maybe even shame. But then something happened that I'll never forget. My 5-year-old daughter climbed into my lap, looked up at me with those innocent eyes, and said, Daddy, are you a superhero? In that moment, everything changed. Not my circumstances, those were still exactly the same. What changed was something much more powerful, my inner conversation. People. I realized that my daughter's belief in me was pure, unconditional, and complete. And I asked myself a question that I now want to ask you. Who would you be if you believed in yourself the way a child believes in their superhero? Think about that younger version of yourself, the one who believed anything was possible. Remember that feeling of pure potential before the world told you to be realistic, before others projected their fears onto your dreams. That child still lives within you. And here's something powerful. That child's dreams weren't too big. The world's thinking was too small. Every person in this room has a story. Some of you might be sitting here thinking about the business you have always wanted to start. Others might be dreaming about the relationship you want to heal, the health you want to reclaim, or the impact you want to make. I remember meeting David, a man who carried so much pain behind his smile. He'd spent 20 years in a job he hated because he thought it was the responsible thing to do. One day, his teenage son asked him, "Dad, are you happy?" That question hit him like a thunderbolt. He realized he wasn't just choosing unhappiness for himself. He was teaching his son to settle for less than what life could be. Your life isn't just about you. Your self-belief, or lack of it, affects everyone around you. When you dare to believe in yourself, you give others permission to believe in themselves too. When you push through your fears, you show others what's possible. Your children, your partner, your friends, your colleagues, they are watching you. They are learning from you. What are you teaching them about what's possible? I want you to do something right now. Put your hand on your heart. Feel that beating. That's not just a muscle pumping blood. That's the rhythm of possibility. That's the drumbeat of your potential. Every beat is saying you can, you can, you can. You know what breaks my heart? When I meet people who've carried their dreams in silence for so long that those dreams have almost suffocated. They speak about their goals in whispers, as if they are not worthy of saying them out loud. Your dreams aren't too big. They're not unrealistic. In fact, they're probably not big enough, because if your dreams don't scare you a little, they are not big enough to bring out the greatness that's within you. I remember sitting with a group of successful entrepreneurs, asking them about their biggest regrets. Not one of them said they regretted trying and failing. Every single one of them regretted waiting so long to begin, doubting themselves for so long, playing small for so long. Your self-belief isn't just about you achieving your goals. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. It's about looking in the mirror every morning and seeing someone who keeps their promises to themselves. It's about going to bed every night, knowing you had the courage to try. Some of you might be thinking, but you don't understand my circumstances. You are right, I don't. But I understand something more important. Circumstances don't determine outcomes. Beliefs do. Your current situation is temporary, but your potential is permanent. Remember Maria, who kept her writing hidden for 15 years. The day she finally showed her work to someone, she was physically shaking. But you know what she told me later? She said, "The moment I shared my dream, it became real. It wasn't just mine anymore. It belonged to the universe." Your dreams aren't meant to be carried alone. Look around this room. Every person here has felt what you are feeling. Every person here has doubted themselves. Every person here has wondered if they are good enough, smart enough, strong enough. You are not just sitting in a room listening to a speech. You are sitting at the crossroads of who you are and who you could become. The only thing standing between these two versions of yourself is belief. The cost of not believing in yourself, not in money though, that's part of it. Think about the cost in joy, in fulfillment, in living true to who you really are. Think about the cost of those who love you, who need you to show them what's possible. I want you to make me a promise right now. Promise yourself that from this moment forward, you will treat your dreams with the respect they deserve. Promise yourself that you will stop asking for permission to be great. Promise yourself that you will stop waiting for the perfect moment, because that moment is now, that promise you just made to yourself. That's where transformation begins. You see, in all my years of studying success, I've noticed something fascinating about moments of real change. They're not just emotional highs. They're decisive turning points where belief meets action. You know what separates the person you are today from the person you will be a year from now? It's not just knowledge. It's not just motivation. It's your daily decisions guided by unshakable self-belief. Last week, I sat down with a CEO who runs a billion-dollar company. 20 years ago, he was living in his car. I asked him what changed. His answer surprised me. He said, "I didn't change. I just gave myself permission to be who I already was. That's what we're doing right now in this room. We are not just talking about success. We are giving ourselves permission to claim it. Think about the thoughts you had when you first walked into this room today. Now think about what you know is possible. Real transformation happens in stages. Just like a space shuttle needs different levels of power at different altitudes, your journey will require different types of self-belief at different stages. The first stage is what I call the awakening. This is where you are right now. You are realizing that everything, absolutely everything, starts with what you believe about yourself. Remember that feeling we talked about earlier, that pure potential you had as a child? That wasn't just optimism. That was your authentic self showing you what's possible. But where most people get stuck, they wait for confidence before taking action. That's backward thinking. Confidence isn't something you get. It's something you create through action. Each small win builds upon the last, creating what I call a success spiral. Think about learning to ride a bike. Nobody ever got good at riding a bike by reading about it. You had to get on, fall off, get back on. Each time you got back up, your belief in yourself grew stronger. Success works exactly the same way. The builder phase, this is where you start constructing your new reality brick by brick, decision by decision. Remember Sarah, who started with just 5 calls a day? That was her builder phase. She wasn't just building a business, she was building her self-belief. You might be wondering, but what if I fail? Good. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every setback is set up for a comeback, but only if you believe it is. This leads us to the third stage, the breakthrough. The breakthrough happens when your new actions, powered by your growing self-belief, create undeniable results. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes your new normal. But here's the key. The breakthrough does not happen despite the challenges. It happens because of them. Let me tell you about Marcus. He sat where you are sitting now 2 years ago. His hands were shaking as he wrote down his goals. Today, he runs 3 successful businesses. The difference? He stopped seeing obstacles as stop signs and started seeing them as stepping stones. This brings us to something crucial about self-belief. It's not a destination. It's a daily practice. Just like you wouldn't eat one meal and expect it to last a year, you can't fill up on self-belief once and expect it to last forever. That's why what you're going to learn next is so vital. We are going to move from understanding to action, from knowing to doing, because self-belief without action is just wishful thinking, and action without self-belief is just busy work. Everything we've discussed so far, the morning rituals, the success conditioning, the victory log, they are all part of a bigger picture. They are tools for building and maintaining unstoppable self-belief. But tools are only as powerful as the person using them. Think about a master carpenter. Give them basic tools and they will create something beautiful. Give amateur basic tools and they will create basic results. The difference isn't in the tools, it's in the belief and skill of the person using them. That's exactly what we're doing here. We are not just gathering tools. We are becoming master builders of our own success. And just like a master carpenter gets better with each project, your self-belief will grow stronger with each action you take. The connection between what you believe, what you do, and what you achieve. These 3 elements are inseparable. When they align, that's when miracles happen. You know what makes this moment different from any other moment in your life? It's not just what you have learned, it's what you have become in these past hours together. The person who walked into this room isn't the same person who's sitting here right now. Look at your hands for a moment. These hands have written down commitments today. These hands have drawn the map of your future. These hands will build your dreams. But most importantly, these hands now hold something precious, your unshakable belief in yourself. I remember standing exactly where you are now. The dreams felt big, the path seemed uncertain, and the world appeared overwhelming. But I discovered something powerful, something I've now seen proven thousands of times, sir. When you dare to believe in yourself, the universe conspires to prove you right. Think about what we have shared together. The stories of Sarah, who turned her life around with 5 calls a day. Michael, who started a fitness empire at 47. Maria, who finally gave herself permission to become who she always was. Their stories aren't extraordinary because of what they achieved. They are extraordinary because they dared to believe they could. This isn't just another seminar. This isn't just another Sunday. This is your declaration of independence from self-doubt. This is your liberation from the prison of limited thinking. Stand up one last time. Everyone, please stand. Feel the energy in this room. This energy isn't excitement. It's certainty. This isn't motivation. It's transformation. This isn't hope. It's knowing. Take out that paper from your pocket, the one with your two selves written on it. Look at it one more time. That gap between who you were and who you are becoming, that gap is closing right now with every breath you take, with every decision you make. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, something will be different. The sun will rise as it always does, but you will see it with new eyes. Your circumstances might be the same, but you will not be. Because now you know something powerful. You know that success isn't about what happens to you, it's about what happens in you. Remember when I told you about the success spiral? Every small win builds upon the last. Every action fueled by belief creates momentum. Starting tomorrow, you are not just going to take action. You are going to take believed action. That's the difference that makes the difference. Some of you might be thinking, but what if I fail? Listen carefully. Failure isn't fatal. Failure isn't final. Failure is feedback. The only real failure is believing you are not capable of success. The world will try to pull you back into your old patterns, your old beliefs, your old limitations. But now you know better. Now you know that what others call impossible is just their limitation, not yours. You have everything you need right now. Everything. The power that built empires, launched innovations, transformed lives, that same power lives in you. It's not something you need to get, it's something you need to unleash. Remember our friend Marcus? The one whose hands were shaking as he wrote down his goals. Last week, he sent me a message. He said, I finally understand success wasn't about learning new strategies. It was about believing I deserved to succeed. As you walk out these doors, you will hear voices. The voice of doubt, the voice of fear, the voice of what if. But now you have a stronger voice, the voice of certainty, the voice of belief, the voice that says, watch me. Take one last deep breath. Feel the person you are becoming, taking full possession of who you are right now. This isn't the end. This is your beginning. This is your moment. This is your time. And years from now, when people ask you when everything changed, you will remember this day. Not because of what you learned, but because of what you decided. You decided to believe in yourself completely, absolutely, and without reservation. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But more importantly, it belongs to those who believe in themselves. Your future is not in front of you. It's inside you, waiting to be unleashed by the power of your belief. Walk out these doors not as who you were, but as who you are becoming. Walk out these doors not hoping for success, but expecting it. Walk out these doors not wondering if you can, but knowing you will. Because success, real success, starts with something simple yet profound. It starts with self-belief, and your time is now. Thank you, and remember, the person you came here seeking answers, the person you have become is the answer. Go forth and become unstoppable.